Welcome to the video for lesson in quiz 5.03, a lesson that goes through the history of the Earth's atmosphere. The Earth's atmosphere has changed over time as far as which gases have been around the Earth, starting with atmosphere 1, then 2, 3, and 4. I would take a snip of this picture if you know how. That way you have this saved. That shows you which are the most abundant gases in each atmosphere, but we'll go through them one by one. Just take a moment to pause this recording and read through the goals and objectives of the lesson, and press play. On page 3, you can find the student guide and the lesson introduction. Great place to take notes. You can also use the e-book, which can be found in the table of contents, and read a little bit more about this topic. Not necessary, though. Kind of a tricky lesson. You're going to want to take notes. So today's atmosphere, or the modern atmosphere, is made up of mostly nitrogen and oxygen. It is nitrogen and oxygen rich, as we call it. 78% nitrogen, 21% oxygen, and less for the other ones. But it has not always been that way. So let's start with how scientists believe that the Earth formed and the solar system formed. Scientists theorize that planets in our solar system, including the Earth, were formed from collisions of rocks through accretion. So make sure you know that rocks, gas, and dust collided to form the planets in our solar system, and this is called accretion. And this was the early Earth, the first atmosphere. Atmosphere 1, right on your paper, atmosphere 1 was high in hydrogen and helium. Pause to write that, and then press play. Atmosphere 1 had hydrogen and helium. We're moving on to atmosphere 2. Atmosphere 2, a lot of volcanoes formed. And volcanoes, almost like they burp out gases. This led to, in atmosphere 2, a lot of water vapor and a lot of carbon dioxide. So pause the recording to write that atmosphere 2 had rich water vapor and carbon dioxide because of volcanoes. Greenhouse gases also trapped in these water vapors and carbon dioxide, trapping in heat. So it was hot in the second atmosphere. And this caused water to condense in the second atmosphere, making oceans form. Next came atmosphere 3. Atmosphere 3 is when nitrogen became abundant in our atmosphere. It was because of ultraviolet light splitting in the atmosphere. So this is, make sure you know that atmosphere 3 is nitrogen rich, but poor in oxygen. Lots of nitrogen, but not enough oxygen for us to breathe. Atmosphere 3 was nitrogen rich and oxygen poor. Go ahead and write that down. Next came living things. Living things made gas, made oxygen abundant. So make sure you know that oxygen in the atmosphere today is formed by living things from photosynthesis. Living things like plants breathe out oxygen. Now, modern atmosphere is atmosphere 4. This is when we got a lot more oxygen from living things. Make sure you know that this most influenced the troposphere and the stratosphere. The two layers closest to Earth were most influenced from the transition between atmosphere 3 and atmosphere 4. Again, the troposphere and the stratosphere. One more thing you need to know is that ozone is in the atmosphere and it protects things from living things from ultraviolet light. So make sure you know about ozone and how it protects living things from ultraviolet light. So for this quiz, make sure you know the word accretion. Make sure you know what the 4 atmospheres were rich in and poor in. And make sure you know that living things put most of the oxygen in today's atmosphere. Good luck in your quiz.